Talk about the tools. Wine charcoal medium, and this is compressed charcoal, right? Compressed charcoal is a hard compressed charcoal, and I also have a soft compressed charcoal pencil. So I'm going to use all these three together. I have the material links in the video description if you want to take a look at it. Let's first thing I'm going to decide on how I'm going to compose the drawing. I want to make the face maybe a little bit smaller. I maybe change my mind. Just take your time and enjoy it. Okay. Roughly, this is about the composition. This is about the size of the face. So I'm going to draw a little more to see if I still like it or if I need to change it. Okay, like that. Right. Draw, focus on your feeling. And the shoulder connected, extended, connect to a bit lower than the mouth, like that. Okay. Now you want to open your sense to see if this is what you want. You almost see the finished drawing, how it looked like now, right? This is now without the details. So, okay, if I wanted, I want the face a little bit bigger. In that case, you should change it at this point, not later, right? Okay, let's see, we're gonna make the face a little bit bigger. Also a little bit more toward the right hand side. That's how easy you just make the adjustment. If you do it later, most likely you won't do it because you don't even do it at the beginning. So now I make the face a little bit bigger with a very minimum damage to the drawing, right? Not much. Okay. If this is what you want, you have to make up your mind. Very important at this point. The next thing I like you to do is to measure. To measure the width of the face compared to the height of the face. Take the height and rotate it left to the right. Do you know what? Wow. It's close to half. So that means half of this as the width. A little bit more than, slightly a little bit more than half. Okay, like this. What I need to do is just take this part proportionally. I can find if the left side stay over here and the right side would be here. That's how you easily measure the width and the height. This is very, very crucial. If you don't get this correct, and the following would be based on the wrong proportion. Now from the top to the chin, now I can see that his eye is actually a little bit higher than the middle line. So let's draw the middle line over here. Actually, we already have the middle line drew. Okay, right over here. And his eye actually a little bit higher, right over here. Now you can find the proportion. The location roughly is over here. We're not done with the proportion yet. And the eyebrows is right over here above, right? Get the eyebrows over here. Now this is good. Now let's come back to the three-part vertical, and which is right over here. I see the hair, the bottom of the hair is right over here. From here to the eyebrows, actually above this, there's the hairline, right over here. You can divide into three. 1, 2, 3. I think the eyebrows can be a little bit higher than this. Get that? So the eye is sitting in this location, like that. Okay, step by step. You don't want to rush through it, and you leave the regret at the later part of the drawing. So the nose would be here. That 1, 2, and 3. He has a very high forehead. Now we find the vertical location of these 3. And take a look at the mouth. And the lower border of the lower lip is actually close to half. A little bit higher than half. Like this is. Everyone is slightly different. Most of the people falling into this are proportion. So the upper lip is very thin. It's about over here. Like that. Like step by step. When you're doing this self-portrait study, you don't need to rush it. There's just not that many steps. You're making sure I cut it down to one step at a time and get every step accountable, solid, right? This is good. Still doesn't look like him yet, but it's okay. Soon enough, we're gonna see. She would jump out from the paper. Okay. Now let's see. This is the width. This is the right hand side. This is the left hand side. That's from our measurement. From here, I can see that on his face, very close to 5. 1, start over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you see that? It's a 5-eyed. Because his face turned a little bit toward the left-hand side, and this a little bit less. But this is the corner of the eye. Now, with the vertical and the horizontal measurement, now you can see exactly where are his eyes. Like that. Now we know the eye here. And for people like immediately going into drawing the eye without knowing where the eyes are is kind of dangerous for the whole composition, right? This is good. Now we're coming over here. Now from here about 3/3, and we're coming down. That is just the dividing line between the light side and the shadow side of the nose. Now about in this location and about like a quarter from the quarter of the eye, and then coming down over here, that is the shadow shape on the right side of the nose. Okay. Like that. Now we can see, divide this space into light side and the shadow side. And this angle all the way coming here. Right? See, coming all the way over here. Now we can fine tune a little bit of the outside outline shape of the face. And then coming from here, now gradually turning to this location. So this is the important to get the outline, the angle correctly. Okay, now come to the left side. From here, start make the turn. Let's see. You can measure this angle the same as we're measuring in the perspective study, right? Measure this angle from your reference. Now coming down over here, make a slowly turn into here, like that, and coming into the chin. Every step so far, they are very easy. There's no any single step are difficult. But some people just somehow they just make it complicated. They compress it together. I can't draw the face, but can you draw the egg? Well, you can. In that case, you can draw the first step. Can you see the positive space, negative space? You can see inside the face, outside the face. And step by step, you can get through it. With some practice, everyone can draw a face. But you need to practice and know how to divide the process into smaller steps. That is the key. Okay, let's come back over here. From this, I'm going to draw the angle coming up. Just focus on the angle of the side of the face over here, the forehead, coming over here. It just may take you a little bit longer time than I draw, but you can draw. With more practice, you can draw as fast as I draw. That's no doubt. Now, this probably a little bit lower. Looking at the proportion of this, you turn it off. Okay, now the outside, nice haircut. Right here. Right. Now let's talk about where are the ears. You can locate that to compare to the eyebrows and also to the nose. Because his face turning down a little bit, that's just why the top of the ear a little bit higher than the eyebrows, right over here. And the bottom of the ear is a little bit higher than the nose. Just compare. Draw the line from here to there. So you can see actually that can be a little bit more, a little bit higher. Now you can draw the outside line of the ear coming down here. So this is the location of the ear. Take a look at on the other side. And it's very much the same as this eye. You can draw a horizontal line and find it. This is the bottom of the ear, a little bit higher, right over here. Okay, where's the top? The top is right over here, coming up a little bit from the eyebrows. Like that. So this is another ear. All right, from here, everything is simple. Now compare, this is the width of the eye, of the two, between the gap between the two eyes, right over here. I want you to compare the nose to that gap. I think the nose over here a little bit outside of this corner. If you draw a vertical line, that it look like this. That's the angle of this line like this, and a little bit outside of this. And of course on this side would be here. Right. So from compare the eyes, you can find the width of the nose. And also at the same time, there's another way double checking that you can draw a line, a triangle, to find out what is the triangle shape look like. Some people's eyes are a little bit wider, the nose a little bit shorter, so making this triangle a little bit squeezy like this, right? So you can double check with that. It's always a good to have another way to check it, to whether or not you have a mistake. Now also with the same comparison, would compare the corner of the mouth to the nose and to the eye, so you can find the width of the mouth. Okay, on this side, you cannot really see well. On the other side, it's just inside the shadow. So, but this corner is supposed to be right over here, like that. Here we go. Now from here on, it's all about the next step. We're going to fill in the shadow shape. Okay, let's see. I'm going to see this is the shadow. I'm going to fill in over here. And this area is all shadow. And upper over here in the eye is shadow. Coming over here, divided into shadow. And now I can divide this space into the shadow. I leave a little bit like a triangle over there, right? So I'm going to build in the shadows shape into the ear and into the shadow side over here. And there's another shape over here. like that. After you filled in the shadow, the face will look more three-dimensional, and then the person look more and more like real. That. And then you can come in here over here to make the iris, and so on. And little by little, and you can finish the portrait drawing. And now coming to the neck over here. Over here, where's the neck? The neck over in this location. Coming over here like this. And then the shadow side of the neck is about here. Continue shading into the shapes. Like say for the hair, I'm using this motion is mimic to the contoured motions of the hair. So this make it more expressive. Okay. It's very easy to erase the wine charcoal, so no worry about that you make a mistake, and you always can adjust it very easily. Now I'm going to set a little bit darker color inside the smaller shape inside this shape. You can see this as a one shape. Okay, you don't need to rush into the smaller shape yet. And also, this is the white paper, so I'm going to actually make the entire face tone it down a little bit as is the local color. And this triangle is actually a little bit darker than the other side of the face. Okay. Looking at the bigger relationship between looking at the smaller relationship. And this triangle is a little bit darker. Looking for the shape. It's very easy to see them if you're paying attention to it. And here you go. And this shape is a little bit darker. So I'm gonna redefine the location of this shape. Okay, and move a little bit to the right, and now to the lower lip. Now coming over here, this is the shape under the mouth. They're showing the distance between the mouth, the lower lip, and the chin. Okay, still shape. Like that. I'm going to redefine the shape over here. The catch the shadow. We talked about edges before. And in this case, this is put a hard edge, right? But in here, the edge get a little bit softer in this location. And now also looking for the edge over here. This is pretty hard. And now looking at the shadow side, we define this, make it a little bit darker. Looking for the angle of the triangle inside this light shape. So you can define it. And I'm going to also define the shadow side, to catch the shadow on the cheek over here in this location. It's very important for you to not thinking about that you're drawing a person. You just actually drawing shapes. And all the shapes connect together in the correct value. That how you create the illusion of a person. Okay? To create the correct suggestions of the structure, that's how the people recognize, oh, this is that person. But you are never actually making a person. You're just making suggestion. And the suggestions you use is the visual elements. The visual elements, the line, shape, value, color, texture. I'm gonna make the outside here a little bit darker. That's good. Now also gonna shade into the shape of the ear, just like a flat shape. The ear has a little bit more distance from us compared to the nose, so it's okay to make it a little bit softer. So fine. And now on this side, I can define a little bit simple shape for the ear. So you don't have to keep thinking about how I'm going to make the ear. You're not going to make the ear. As soon as you can define the correct shape in the correct value, and that's all we can do. Okay. Now I'm going to soften the skin tone and the forehead. Making the white paper feel like a tone paper. Okay. Take a look at inside. Before we go into the eye, let's define the edge of the face. Okay. Make it a little bit softer. That's good. And take a look at the corner of the mouth over here. And the whole drawing process is step by step, one step at a time, so you feel you're not overwhelmed. You are doing one little things contribute to the whole process of the portrait drawing. That's good. And the lip is a little bit darker than the face skin. Like that. It's good. And this area is a little bit darker. Like that. And now I'm going to define a little bit of their facial hair. If you don't want to use a finger to blend the colors, you can use the paper blender. And I'm also going to put the product linked to the video descriptions. Take a look at it. And those doesn't really cost much. Okay. And take a look at the edge I'm going to make this a little bit softer up over here. This a little bit softer, this edge, and the edge coming down over here a little bit harder. I'm going to make this shape a little bit darker. So some darker shape inside the shadow side, and also some darker shape or lighter shape inside the light side. So that's how we start from the big shape, the bigger relationship going into smaller and smaller and smaller, and so on, so we can define the composition. Okay, on this side, I'm going to give little suggestions for the coat. I'm going to make it a little bit simple. That's the shape of the cast shadow. Okay, now it's good, and we're going to come into define a little bit detail, like inside the eye and so on. We already know the location of the eyes. It's pretty easy to define the detail. Oh, look at that. And define the nose a little bit. And take out a little bit, and that's it. It's just let's come back to the eye. Here you go. Now let's see where's the eye, the iris. And inside the iris, there's the pupil. Look at the detail in that. Okay, there is the top eyelid. That's good. And in the top eyelid over here has shadow. Okay. And their eyebrows. That. Now I'm going to take a look at the lower eyelid. I'm going to use my little eraser. I'm going to clean up the eye white area. That's good. And also in this small shape over here, it's a little bit lighter. Like that. That looks good. And the lower eyelid over here is a little bit lighter because that is facing to the light. Okay. Now I come back to give a little bit more detail. There's the corner over here, a little bit darker. And then come to this side. Not very dark, but you can get a little details on the lower eye level here. And I'm suggesting that is a little bit of the eyelashes. Now looking at the lower eyelid has shadow side. That's good. Soften that with your finger. Okay, good. Refine the edge of the iris. That's good. Now I come in to create the highlight inside the iris. Right in here. Shape the little eraser really pointy and keep stretching it. If you're not stretching it, it won't take up the charcoal right over here. That's good. Now I come in here to shape around the highlight. That's good. Now I'm looking at the other eye. The other eye, this eye is mostly in the shadow. So the light shape is not much. So the upper eyelid right over here. So always start from bigger shape and looking into inside the bigger shape for the smaller shape. And take a look. The eye is sitting in here. And the iris in here. Like that. And the eyebrows. Like that. I'm going to soften that a little bit, connected to the same texture as the surrounding. There you go. And over here, refine this shape for the lower eyelid. Now, what I want to do is use the nitty eraser to give it a little highlight on the lower eyelid. Here you go. Like that. Let's see. Like that. There's some darker color in the lower eyelid. That is the termination line of the shadow. Okay. Okay, now I come down to the nose. Control the pressure so you can get different values. Okay. I'm going to refine a little bit of the facial here. Give a little suggestions. You don't have to give a lot. Okay. A little bit suggestion here. A little bit. Take a look at underneath the nose. You can define the details here. Take a look. Now I come to the hair over here. I'm going to give a little bit suggestions. I don't need to draw hair by hair. Just a little suggestions. Define it. There's some catch the shadow of the hair. That's good. Now I'm gonna come to here, and the next should be have a little bit softer, like that. Now I'm gonna come here to give it a little bit definitions. Give a little bit line, but you don't have to overdo it. Just enough. That's good. Now what I want to do is use the eraser to create a lighter area. Now this is here on the forehead. This is lighter, and coming up here a little bit lighter, like that. Okay, now I'm gonna come to the cheek over here and erase that to create a lighter shape. That's good. And over here too, this area also facing directly to the light. That's why this a little lighter. And take a look at the mouth, the chin over here, this a little lighter. And look at in the area of the mouth. And first I'm gonna reshape this border. Okay. That's better. Now I come in to give a little lighter area on the lower lip. Some smaller line that define the texture. That's good. And in this area is also a little bit lighter. So by shading the paper, make it a little bit darker, so you can use the knead eraser to define the lighter shape, while you continue using the charcoal to define more darker shape. Okay, now what I want to do to the nose, I'm gonna create this highlight. Now turn a little bit like this, and this stop. That's how you make the nose look up here to be a little bit higher or lower. Okay, and the forehead over here, I'm gonna make this a little bit darker. You can continue adjust the value, adjust the shape, and that's how you develop the portrait. Make it look more and more as the person you are drawing. This need to be darker. I can just like draw the line over here. Now this portrait is finished.